Hello everyone. This is Miu from Susan's family. Today, I'd like to share with you a design from the Chinese aesthetic series, the Fu cushion cover. This pillow cover is made up of two identical fabric pieces. First, complete a single fabric piece, then sew them together. Lastly, add the zipper. Let's start by learning how to crochet a single fabric piece. A single fabric piece includes 4 parts, consisting of the central Fu character piece, the 4 corner pieces, joining them together, and adding the border. Start by crocheting the central Fu character piece. Let's take a look at the finished product. The central Fu character piece begins with a foundation chain. Work back and forth along this row. During the crocheting process, switch colors to form the Fu character. Finally, crochet the border. After completing it, work a round of edging around the Fu character. Embroider a circle of gold thread for decoration. The stitches used are chains, single crochets, double crochets, and slip stitches. Now, please let me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with a foundation chain. Before you begin crocheting, learn the proper posture for crocheting first. To make it easier for you to watch, I will demonstrate using thick yarn. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Pick up the yarn with your right hand. Wrap the yarn tail around your left little finger once. Thread it through between the middle finger and index finger. Then pinch the yarn tail with your thumb and middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Place it underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pinch the crossing point of the loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Tighten it slightly. Now start making chains. Make a bit of adjustment of the loop on the hook. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. One chain is completed. Such a braid represents one stitch. Continue crocheting chains. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This is the second stitch. Repeat this process all the way down to the required number of stitches. Be mindful not to make the chain too tight. Here I use a small sample to demonstrate. The number of stitches is fewer. For the specific number of chains, please refer to the pattern. This completes the foundation chain. Move on to the first row. For this row, follow the chart and diagram from right to left. Each square represents one SC. Chain 1 as the turning chain for the SC. Make one SC. Before you crochet, take a look. The right side of the chain looks like this V-shaped braid. Find the second chain from the left. 1, 2. Pick up the half loop at the top of the chain. Which is this strand? Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Now there are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through once. This completes one SC. Corresponding to the right top is a V-shaped braid. This is the stitch of a SC. Next, make a SC in the adjacent chain on the left. Pick up the half loop at the top. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over. Pull through all the loops on the hook. This completes another SC. Continue by picking up the half loop on top of the chains. Make SCS correspondingly. Keep going until you finish all the foundation chains. This completes the first row. Now let's check the stitch count. You can count the stitches. The number of stitches is the number of times you've crocheted. The stitch count should match the number of the foundation chains. We will consider the side with the clearer texture, which is the side where the starting chain tail is on the left, as the right side of the entire piece. Next, we'll work on the second row. For this row, read the chart from left to right. For odd-numbered rows, read from right to left. For even-numbered rows, read from left to right. Make one beginning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Then pick up the SC stitch below. Make one SC. Note that since you are on the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch is on the upper left of the SC, which means picking up these two strands. Continue picking up stitches and making SCS correspondingly, all the way down until you complete all the stitches of the previous row. After completing the last stitch, the second row is finished. Continue with the third row. Make one beginning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Then make SCS correspondingly. Complete this row. And the third row is finished. For the fourth row, repeat the method from the third row. Make SCS correspondingly. The method is very simple. You can finish it on your own. I won't demonstrate it. Move on to the fifth row. This row requires switching colors. Make one beginning chain. Turn the workpiece. Refer to the chart. Crochet the corresponding number of SCS using the current color. The sample has fewer stitches, mainly demonstrating the method. When you are a short distance away from the color change position, take out the new yarn, which we call color 2. The previous yarn is called color 1. Place color 2 above the hook. Weave it in on the back side as you crochet. There is one stitch left before the color change position. Since the next stitch needs to be crocheted with color 2. Here, crochet 1 incomplete SC. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. The incomplete SC is completed. Then place color 1 on the back side. Switch to color 2 and hook out. Slightly tighten color 1. This completes one SC with color 1. And the color change is done. Then use color 2, make 3 SCS, and switch colors on the last stitch. Since color 1 will be used again later, tuck color 1 into the back side here. When working the last stitch with color 2, first make an incomplete SC. Then gently tug on color 1 to prevent the yarn from getting caught inside. Then switch to color 1 and hook out. Slightly tighten color 2. This completes 3 SCS with color 2. And the color change is done. Continue crocheting with color 1. Since color 2 won't be used again, leave it on the back side for now. After completing the last SC, row 5 is done. For future color changes, make an incomplete SC before the color 2 position to switch colors. Now crochet row 6. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn over the workpiece. Begin making SCS. Continue crocheting until there is 1 stitch left before the color 2 position from the previous row. When you reach the corresponding position, switch colors and make it SC. Leave color 1 behind. Slightly tighten color 1. If the yarn gets tangled while crocheting, straighten it out promptly. Then make 5 SCS. And switch colors on the last stitch. Be mindful that color 1 will be used again later. Weave it in together on the wrong side. Make the last stitch with color 1. Leave color 2 behind. Remember to pull the yarn first. To prevent it from getting tucked inside, keep the workpiece flat. Slightly tighten color 2. Then make 1 SC with color 1. And switch to color 2 to crochet. Then make 3 SCS with color 2. And switch colors on the last stitch. Keep weaving color 1. Color 2 will not be used later. Leave it on the backside. Continue crocheting with color 1 to complete this row. This completes the 6th row. Continue with the 7th row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn the workpiece. Begin crocheting the corresponding number of SCS. Crochet until just before the color change position. Switch to color 2 to crochet. The distance here is farther. Simply pull through color 2. Then adjust the carrying yarn on the backside. Make it stick to the workpiece. It's okay if it's slightly loose. Just ensure the workpiece is flat. Then crochet with color 2. And weave the carrying yarn together with color 1. After completing the corresponding number of SCS, switch to color 1 to continue crocheting this row. And that completes the 7th row. Next, follow the chart. At the beginning of each row, make the starting chain. While crocheting, before switching colors, stretch the wrapped yarn to prevent it from curling inside. If the yarn needs to be used later, carry it on the wrong side and crochet it in as you go. If it's not needed, leave it on the wrong side for later use. When carrying yarn over a long distance, you can wrap the carrying yarn on the wrong side as you crochet. Next, follow the chart. Referring to the previous demonstration, finish the remaining rows. The method is very simple, so I won't continue demonstrating. Now, let me show you how to count rows. Count from the right side of the fabric, which is where the yarn tail is on the left side. You can see that the odd-numbered rows have the texture of the right side with SCS. The texture is clearer. The even-numbered rows have the texture of the wrong side. You will see these short horizontal lines. Count the rows by alternating between the right and wrong sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The swatch has 7 rows. This is the method for counting rows when crocheting back and forth. It's important to note that if you run out of yarn while crocheting, Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail at the end. Pick up new yarn. And also leave about 10 centimeters at the beginning. Join the yarn using the color change method and continue crocheting. Make sure to leave the yarn tails on the wrong side. When crocheting, the two tails should also be placed over the hook and wrapped into the stitches as you crochet. For any yarn joining situation, refer to this demonstration for joining the yarn. After completing the part with color 2, you can cut the yarn. Here, I'll demonstrate with a small sample. Leaving about 10 centimeters of yarn tail for color 2, and cut the yarn. Continue crocheting with color 1. And then weave in color 2 as you crochet. If there are any yarn tails at the beginning, you can simply cut them off. This is a sample after the last row is completed. The sample has fewer stitches and rows. It mainly demonstrates the method. After completing the last row, continue by crocheting the border. Start with the first round. Here, continue crocheting with color 1. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn the workpiece and work on the right side. Make SCS correspondingly. Continue until you have 1 stitch left. When you reach the corresponding position, make 3 SCS into the stitch. Next, you'll reach the edge. Make 1 SC into each stitch in sequence. You can crochet into these gaps. Be mindful not to crochet into the last gap. Then, you'll reach the starting point. Insert into the first chain the entry position of the SC. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain. Make 3 SCS. Then continue picking up the remaining 2 strands on the left side. Make SCS correspondingly. Weave the starting yarn tail as you go. When you reach the last stitch, make 3 SCS. Next, you'll reach the other side. The technique is the same as the previous side. Make SCS in the corresponding chain spaces. Be mindful not to work into the first space. Start from the second chain space. After completing the last chain space, at the entry position of the starting SC, make 2 SCS. Then, on the starting SC, make 1 slip stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch of the starting SC. Draw the yarn through. Pull through all the loops on the hook. Slip stitch to finish. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. Pull tight. Then fasten off. Chain 1 to secure. Enlarge the loop. Leave about 5 centimeters of yarn tail and cut off. Pull tight. The first round of the edging is now complete. Finally, crochet the second round. First, take the corresponding color of yarn. Attach the yarn in the same position, where you just made the slip stitch. Make a loose knot. Insert the hook into the corresponding position. Draw the loop through. Adjust the size of the loop. Joining is complete. Next, make 3 beginning chains. Take these 3 chains as 1 DC. Correspond to the SC below. Then, in the left SC stitch, make 1 DC. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the stitch. Note to place the tail end together above the hook. Weave in as you crochet. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn over again. Pull through once. This completes 1 DC. Corresponding to the V-shaped braid at the top, right? This is the stitch of the DC. Continue to make 1 DC on the left side. Yarn over. Insert. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat twice. 1, 2. Another DC is done. Work into each stitch in sequence with DCS. Continue until you reach the first stitch of the next 3 SCS on the left. When you reach the corresponding position, on the left SC stitch, make 5 DCS. After completion, continue making DCS correspondingly. Continue until you reach the first stitch of the next 3 SCS. When you reach the corresponding position, make 5 DCS on the left stitch. Take a look here. This round involves making 5 DCS into the middle stitch of the 3 SCS from the previous round. For the rest of the positions, make DCS into each corresponding stitch. Follow the method to complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch in the turning chain. You can count upwards from below to find the third chain stitch. Pick up the 2 strands of the chain stitch to make a slip stitch. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. Pull through all the loops on the hook. Slip stitch is complete. Tighten. Cut the yarn. Weave the yarn tail on the wrong side following the texture. You can weave a few more stitches. Trim excess tails. This completes round 2. The border is now complete. Next, we need to work a round of edging on the right side of the fabric. Work around all the color change boundaries. Here, I'll use a sample to demonstrate the edging technique. Take out color 2. To make it easier to watch, I'll use another color for demonstration. Insert the hook at any point where the colors change. Draw the yarn through. Leave a little yarn tail on the wrong side. Then follow along the color change marks. Slip stitch in each corresponding space. Be mindful not to tighten the slip stitches. After the last space is completed, pull up a large loop. Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Thread the needle. Pick up the starting chain. Exit. Return to the previous loops and weave to the back side. Adjust the loops. This way, there are no seam marks on the right side. Tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails. Secure them following the texture on the wrong side. Do the same with the other one? I won't demonstrate it. This completes the outline for one color change position. For the remaining color change positions, work a round of slip stitches using the same method. The method is very simple. I won't demonstrate it. This concludes the explanation for crocheting the slip stitch outlines. Next, on the crocheted slip stitch outline. On the side closer to color 1. Embroider a circle of gold thread for decoration. Cut a piece of gold thread. Don't make it too long. To prevent inconvenience while embroidering, thread it into the sewing needle. Fold the yarn in half. Tie a knot with the yarn end. You can tie several knots to prevent the gold thread from slipping. Insert the needle on the wrong side. Exit through the side of the slip stitch. Start by leaving a part. Follow the slip stitch outline. Insert the needle every other chain space. Pull through the reserved loop. Gently tighten. Mind not to pull the embroidery thread too tight to prevent the fabric from curling. Then exit from the middle chain space on the left side of the segment. Continue by inserting the needle in the next chain space to skip the previous entry position. Exit at the previous entry position. Continue coming out on the left side. Continue embroidering. If the thread runs out, you can go to the wrong side. Tie off and weave in the ends. Then take a new thread and continue following the embroidery pattern. If the gold thread doesn't lie flat, you can sew it down again. After completing one round, bring the thread to the wrong side. Tie off and weave in the ends. The method is very simple. I won't demonstrate it. The initial yarn tails should also be secured on the wrong side. This completes one round of gold thread decoration. For the rest of the gold thread decorations, follow the same method. The method is very simple. I won't demonstrate it. This completes the explanation of the gold thread decorations. The central, faux, character fabric piece is also explained.